In this video, we're talking about the top 5 ways that you are probably leaving money on the table when you sell your home. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. Welcome back to Home with Hal. On this episode, I'm giving you a little snippet for tips to sell your home. So most of the people who watch my channel are people who are relocating to the Pacific Northwest. So maybe you have a house to sell in your home state, or maybe you watch this and you're local. If you're local, shout out your neighborhood in the comments. So you might be watching this video if you already live in Southwest Washington, if you're looking to sell your home, maybe you're looking to upgrade, downgrade, or get into a different neighborhood. Whatever the case is, I've got some great tips for you today. If you're buying, selling, or investing anywhere in Southwest Washington, make sure to shoot me a text, 360-818-4438. Do it now before you forget. I'd love to chat about what your goals are, whether you need to move next month, next year, or you have longer term plans. Reach out to me. We can have a totally casual conversation. The biggest thing that you can do to help this channel, if you enjoy the content, is to subscribe and like this video. Helps me out so much, you have no idea. So go ahead and take a second to do that right now. So let's jump into the top 5 ways that you are probably leaving money on the table when you sell your home. In this market, this hot seller's market, you might be thinking, you can't lose money, like everything's going over asking. There's multiple offers on almost every property. And yes, that's true, but I'm going in and out of houses practically every day with my clients, and you can really tell the difference. It does make a huge difference, especially these tips that I'm gonna give you. So if you're getting ready to sell your home, reach out to me. I'd love to help you, represent you, make sure that you don't make these mistakes so that you can get top dollar for your home sale. And if you're selling your home out of state, reach out to me so I can make sure that you are covering all of these things and more when you're getting ready to list your house out of state. Number 1, when you're hiring an agent, you wanna make sure that they're following up after every showing. One of the top ways that people are losing money when they're listing their home is their listing agent isn't following up with every single showing, with every buyer's agent, with everyone who walks through that house to make sure that their questions are answered, to find out what their objections are and handle their objections. This can literally be the difference between getting into contract and not. This can be the difference between sitting on the market or being one of those homes that gets scooped up within the first couple days of being listed. And you definitely want to be the latter. All of these tips are not just important in a seller's market, but they're even more important in a buyer's market. So no matter what's going on with the market, even in this hot seller's market, these are 5 things that you want to pay attention to. And I would say even more so, or over and above, you want to pay attention to them if it's a buyer's market. So no matter how the market flips, seller's market, buyer's market, it's a hot, cold, you want to make sure that you're really paying attention to these things. And if you're lucky enough to work with me, you can rest assured that all of these things will be done when we work together and I'm selling your house. The next top way that people lose money when they're selling their house is that their listing agent takes their own photos. So if you see your listing agent take out their cell phone and say, I'm gonna take some photos of your house for the listing, you should run the other way. All photos in this market should have professional photography. Let's say it again, professional photography.
Say it with me.
Say it again, professional, you gotta say it with me, dear. Professional photography. And a lot of people, when they hear that, are like, wait a second, I don't wanna pay for that. No, your listing agent should be covering that. They should be coming out of their pocket to market your home. That's part of what you're paying them for on the back end. So you wanna make sure that they're getting professional photography done. This is such a cheap way to cut corners and really does a disservice to your home when it's listed. Listing a home in today's market, and by today's market, I mean in the 21st century, is so much like online dating. If you're on any dating site, your home basically has its own little profile, little Tinder, Bumble, FarmersOnly.com profile.
That's the one I'm on.
I don't know what's hot, so I've been out of the dating market for almost a decade. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So whatever the hot dating site is, if your profile isn't popping on the front end, if it doesn't have great pictures, if it's not appealing, aesthetically, interesting, all of the things that might make you swipe right on, I don't know guys, I'm probably getting this all sorts of wrong, swipe right on a profile on a dating app, like your home is gonna get overlooked. And you can't even get to the part where, oh, if people come in my home, they're gonna love this feature, they're gonna love that feature. The online presence, if that online profile isn't attractive in the first place, you're not gonna get enough showings where it's even gonna matter. And I see houses all the time that are great homes in great neighborhoods, and my clients don't wanna see them because the photos are just not attractive. So you wanna make sure that you're getting professional photography. That brings us to number 3, and one of the ways that you're probably losing money when you're selling your home is allowing your home to look lived in. I cannot tell you how many clients I've taken through homes, and the second we open the door, they're like, oh, is someone living here? Or they're looking around and they feel uncomfortable looking around at a home that they are considering purchasing because they feel like they're in your home. And that goes beyond just the standard, take your family photos off the wall. It goes down to the shoes that are sitting in the closet. It goes down to laundry baskets that you might have out, to the way towels are placed. So you want to think about your senses. You have your sight, so look around. Does it look like you? You almost want to feel like you're staying in a hotel room when you're in your own house while you're selling your house. In this market that we're in for 2021 right now in summer, it's really hot, so your house shouldn't be on the market that long. But if we flip to a buyer's market, or I should say when we flip to a buyer's market, you should feel like you're living in a hotel. It shouldn't feel like you. So you want to use those senses, your eyes, your nose, your ears. So you can avoid using taste, but you are going to want to use touch. Clients like to open blinds. They like to touch doorknobs. They're going to swing the door open. They're going to open cabinets in the kitchen. They're going to slide drawers out. They're looking inside the oven. There's so many things that are a little odd, but when people are looking at houses and they're thinking, and they're kind of in this autonomic response, and their brain is just touching things and looking at things and looking under. And so you really want to have a fresh perspective, and you don't want the house to look lived in. That is the biggest thing for number 3. And that's like the age-old tip from the real estate industry, like take your photos off your wall. But there are other factors that go into it that make people feel like they're in someone else's house, which prevents them from really looking at the house because they can't see past the fact that they're in someone's house, which means that what I see as I'm observing my clients is that they are more respectful, more like guests. Like your guests don't go and look into your things. They're not looking in your closet. They're not opening cabinets. That's something a guest wouldn't do in your home, but it is something that people do when they're buying. And so you want to be cognizant of that. Also for number 3, you might be thinking, okay, the house shouldn't look lived in, but I live in the house. And this is a great opportunity to use your garage as a catch-all because it's the most forgivable area of the house. If the entire house is clean, doesn't look lived in, looks great, and you open the garage door and it's packed with boxes, people know that you're moving. They will forgive that. And they appreciate seeing the house clean and well kept. So the garage is the most forgivable area. You still want it to be neat, so box everything up. Don't make it look crazy, but it's a great place to keep your shoes while you're living there, to put anything that's not 100% necessary to living in that house right then. And once your house is under contract, you're gonna be there for a couple more weeks. You can move the stuff back in that you need. So I'll give you an example. While my husband loves his little fisherman display case, this may be something I would put in the garage. If it's not actively contributing to the staging of the house, this might be something that goes in the garage. And that's something you'll have to decide. Call me if you need help with this as you're getting ready to list your home. That brings us to number 4. You want to clean uncommon areas. So I want to give you guys an example of this, and I wish I took a picture because it would illustrate so well how buyers look at homes. I was in a home that had a 2-story entrance. So it's a 2-story home. The entrance right when you walk in the door was all the way to the 2nd story ceiling, and there was a chandelier hanging, and then you could see the a banister of the hallway upstairs right from the entryway. At the very top of that wall, there was an air return there. And we didn't look up when we went in the house, walked all through the downstairs house, looked in the backyard, looked in the garage. We go upstairs, we look at the bedrooms. And as we turn the corner to go down that same hallway to the master, it was very evident, now that we're level eye to eye with this air return, that it had so much dust on it, you could have created a wig. And after my clients saw that and a few other things that just weren't quite crisp and clean, they said if they don't keep their air return clean, like what other things are they not maintaining on the house? So cleanliness in a buyer's eyes often equals maintenance. So if the house isn't clean, they're gonna think that the house isn't well maintained, and they don't wanna buy a house that they're gonna have to put a lot of repairs in when there are other houses to choose from. My clients ended up, because of that, not making an offer on that house. So that is a way that you're losing money or leaving money on the table, because you will receive less offers on a dirty house, even in this hot seller's market. Because I see my buyers all the time pass on homes that aren't clean. That's simply what it comes down to. They don't want to deal with the possibility that you didn't maintain your home on bigger items because you weren't doing the small maintenance cleaning items. And a lot of this stuff is stuff that you can do on your own. You'll notice throughout all these tips, they don't directly cost you, the seller, any money. But you do have to be aware of it. You have to be cognizant of it. And one of the ways you can do that is you can invite a neighbor over and ask them to be extremely critical. So maybe someone you trust who knows that your feelings aren't gonna get hurt, and don't let your feelings get hurt, to tell you, hey, this doesn't look clean, that doesn't look clean. My buyers pass on dirty homes all the time. The cleaner the house, the stronger the offers they write are, 100% of the time. And that brings us to number 5, resist the temptation to do unnecessary updates. So I have a friend who is going to be listing her house, and she was telling me some of the updates that she wants to make before she sells the home. So these aren't updates that she's making for herself, that she wants to enjoy herself, which is probably the best reason to make updates. Make updates because you like them. If you want new floors, do what you like and plan to enjoy them. Don't only look at it from the financial perspective of, I'm gonna make this update and I wanna get it back on the sale of my house. Do it because you're gonna enjoy it, or because the house needs it, or it's gonna add value in terms of maintenance. But when you're getting ready to sell, so you're, 3 to 6 months out from selling, you wanna avoid and resist the temptation to do unnecessary updates. Because inevitably, the buyer's tastes are gonna be different than yours. Yes, there is a standard aesthetic that buyers in today's market find appealing, but not everyone is the same. And most people, myself included, are not professional designers, although I have a great professional designer that I can refer you to. Reach out to me and I can put you in touch with some fabulous local designers, and I would love to share their info with you. So I have a friend who plans to sell her house after some life changes in a few years, and she told me that she wanted to put hardwood, cherry colored hardwood throughout the house or throughout the main living area when she sells. And I know that cherry wood is not while it's a beautiful material, probably she has great taste, so probably gonna be a very beautiful, high-end, refined aesthetic to it. It's not the taste of today's average buyer. And there's no use in putting in nice floors that isn't going to directly affect people wanting to bid more on your house. It's great to see that there's new floors, but if they don't like the new floors, they're not going to be in a rush to replace them. Sometimes it's better to have okay floors, but a new water heater, than it is to have brand new floors that aren't in the buyer's taste, and now the water heater needs to be replaced. So you have, just for an example, so now you have 2 negatives. I don't love the floors and I'm gonna have to replace the water heater, versus the water heater's new and I don't love the floors, but because they're not new, I can stomach replacing them and putting in something that I like. So you can turn something that could be, you're thinking it's just, well, it's one thing and it'll make the house look nicer, so I'll get my money out. And that's not always a direct correlation. So you wanna be very strategic with the things that you are updating in the home. And that kind of brings me and ties into our bonus point for this video, which is if you're a little farther out from listing your home, acting like you're a home buyer yourself and going out and paying the $400 or $500 to get a professional inspection done. I have a great team of inspectors I'd love to refer to you as well. If you need referrals for things, contact me. Here's my number. You want to go out and purchase an inspection because the buyers that are the buyer that's gonna end up under contract on your home is gonna get an inspection. And if you can say upfront that the water heater was replaced 2 years ago, the carpet's new within the last year, the house was painted within the last 5 years, we had a new roof put on, X number of years ago. Those are the things that buyers really are going to care about. Getting a quality, well-maintained house goes so much farther than people give credit for. It's not just about the aesthetic, because you can have a beautiful looking home, but if it feels cheap, if the quality is low, the house looks great, but it needs all of this work when their inspection comes back, it's going to be a problem. Also, when you've had those major components of the home checked out, inspected, or replaced relatively recently, it gives buyers more confidence to be able to offer more because they already know that those aren't going to be issues. Whereas if they're not sure about the age of the roof, for instance, they might not offer you as much because they don't know if they're gonna need a new roof. But if you say it was replaced within the last 5 years, well, now they know on the front end, okay, that was taken care of. So we can afford to push our budget a little more up and compete, at least in the seller's market, on this home because these major maintenance issues were already taken care of. So whether we're in a buyer's market or a seller's market, those are always gonna be things that buyers wanna see. Yes, it's great to have a beautiful home that's on trend, but trends are always changing, and that's something that's super hard to keep up with, and it can be very expensive. All of these tips that I shared with you today are little to no cost to you and make a big difference in the eyes of buyers when they're looking at your home. So to give you a quick recap, in order to avoid leaving money on the table, you wanna make sure that your listing agent is following up after every showing. You wanna make sure that you have professional photography done on your home. You wanna make sure your home doesn't look lived in. You also want to clean those uncommon areas and avoid unnecessary updates. And then that sixth bonus was go out and get an inspection. Pretend you're a buyer and you were going to buy your home. What repairs would you want to see? What condition would you want the house that you're going to buy to be in? So that's kind of the thinking that you want to have as you're listing your home. If you need any help getting your house sold, or even if you're just in the beginning stages of, toying with the idea of selling your house, reach out to me. I'd love to chat about ways to make sure that your house is fully list ready, that it's going to be marketable and attractive to buyers. So you can reach out to me at 360-818-4438. My email's listed below, and you can always visit my website, halbyrd.com, to get all of my contact information. So with that being said, I will catch you next time. Ciao. So maybe you have a...
Shoot that phone.
Can you mute it down? Like swipe down and turn on silent and do the same for your phone?
My phone's already done. I'm a professional.
Oh, so where'd that other secondary ding come from?
Your phone.
It dinged twice?
Yeah. Uncle Bump. Got a great visual for you.
Okay.
You say, for example, this is probably my husband's favorite wall hanging.
But that's great for staging. Like that's great for staging.
But it's ugly though. Just like look back at it like cool screenshot.